Well, good day again, folks. I'm very pleased to say on this Fireside Chat, I'm welcoming Sam from Medical Engineers based in the Northwest. Sam, welcome to the Team Fireside Chats. I think you've been a member of Team for about a year now.
Yep.
Tell us a bit of the background about Medical Engineers, how long the business has been trading, what was your motivation for starting? Be good to hear that story.
Okay, so we founded in 2008. So we've been going a good while now. 2008, one recession. We've had a few downturns, COVID. Things pretty quiet at the minute. But the reason for setting up the business is that my background is I'm an engineer. I worked in product development before I moved into recruitment. I fell into recruitment as most people do when they sign up to a recruitment agency to find a job and they crowbar you in. But after I had my son, I wanted to work for myself, give myself a bit of flexibility around childcare, and we've grown over that time, word of mouth. Really proud of our holistic growth and recommendations. Never really had to advertise the business, and I think that's largely because we are so very niche, inch wide, mile deep. We recruit engineers and scientists in medical device development. That's it.
And so is that just in the UK or is it beyond those borders as well?
Yeah, we recently launched in the US and Canada. So we set that up in September last year. So that's a very different approach to recruitment, really fast paced. You've got to be on your money out there, but the fees are, twice what we're going to get in the UK. So good news.
Brilliant. One of the positives about America as well is there's the same number of recruitment companies in the US as there is in England.
Yeah.
The UK. But there's 250 million people against 66 million. So there's less competition. And like you said, almost double the fees. Yeah. So let's bring us to today then. We were going to have a chat today. And I remember at the Northwest meeting, you were talking about the benefits that you've embraced with outsourcing. And I know you had a couple of hiccups with that, but you've persisted with that challenge. And tell us how you're doing with the outsourcing program now.
Yeah, so as you say, we had a few hiccups to start with. I think, understanding, like we went to an overseas market with very British values.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that we didn't expect was that sometimes people will work multiple jobs to win the job. And that's actually illegal in some countries to have two employers.
Yeah.
So we went through a few iterations and hiccups, but essentially we used a recruitment platform called naukri.com. That's naukri.com. That is just a CV library of India in this instance.
Yeah.
And then we found an employer of record that could payroll our staff overseas, because to start with, we only have one or two, so it wasn't worthwhile us setting up a presence overseas. And that employer of record can employ people globally for us, so they're not based in one particular country. So it's working out great now. We've got 5 overseas employees. Jamie, the director of the business, or I will visit them at least once a year, so they get 2 UK to overseas visits. And then as part of our company incentives, we are incentivizing everybody to work together as a team, and then we'll have one big get together once a year where all the team will come together and celebrate our successes, basically.
That sounds fabulous. That would be a good party as well.
Exactly.
Well done. Yeah. And how has that changed your business in terms of deliverability and productivity?
Well, this year we really want to increase our number of contractors out. That's dwindled because of COVID. Certain projects, big projects, coming to an end. So we're really focused this year on contractors out, and having overseas employees means that we can work contract vacancies very quickly on a 24/7 basis. So sometimes on big programs where you've got 48 hours from release of role to candidate submission closure, we really sort of get a lot of bang for our buck in terms of time, because we've got people working around the clock to fill those roles. So it helps us very much.
Brilliant. And just that sounds fab. But moving on to this year, how optimistic are you for 2023? Lots of people have had a boom 22, a little bit nervous about 2023, but be interesting to hear about your inch wide, mile deep market. Has that changed at all?
Well, I mean, we were lucky, you know, through COVID, where other companies were contracting, you know, the nature of the business we're in, medical technology development, meant that we were in a good space. But even so, that just meant that contractors were busy. People would take people on a contract basis, but permanent, literally, we had something like 62 open vacancies that dropped off to nothing overnight. That's perm roles. And then this year, you know, we found that our permanent headcount is still really busy. So far so good. In the US, it's a lot slower now than it was when we launched in September.
Okay.
So we're certainly seeing the US has slowed, but now I think it's starting to come good again. We're seeing a lot more open roles come through. So I think the UK is usually about 6 months behind, isn't it? They say, the US economy. So maybe sort of towards the tail end of May, we'll start to see things slow down. But at the moment, we're still fine. Touch wood.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And I noticed you've expanded your team. You've got a marketing exec or a manager now. How's that helping push the brand for your business?
Well, you know, we've never really focused on marketing. I think that is our biggest learning from the last few years, is that we grew through word of mouth, and we kind of assumed that would just continue. You know, we have a really solid brand, but not many people know about us. So when we say to medical engineers, we go to conferences and they're like, why don't we hear about you? And it's because our online presence is shabby. So, you know, for us, creating those longer term strategies, but also short term deliverables is something that the team are really focused on. So you should start seeing loads of really cool content coming out from medical engineers.
In fact, I wanted to get a group of marketing execs within team talking to each other. We've probably got 100 marketing execs who work for some of our members, and it would be nice to have them in a community so that they can bounce ideas off each other, because I'm sure they can share ideas and learn, and teams shouldn't just be for the bosses. So that might be an idea that we get going, I think, this summer. Well, lovely to speak to you and hear the progress of medical engineers, and power to your elbow, and good luck in the States, and brilliant success, I think, with outsourcing. But you've not outsourced now. They've become part of your business, haven't they? You've taken that bigger, more bold step. So well done.
Yeah. And we love having them as part of our team, because they just bring so many new and interesting angles that we don't think of. You know, lots of time we'll have our morning meetings and they'll just throw a curveball in there, and we're all kind of going, oh yeah, I can see why that would work.
I think, and it ticked, I don't want to say tick the boxes. I wish I hadn't said it now, but for embracing diversity properly, I think you're certainly on that journey, and well done for tackling that.
Well, International Women's Day tomorrow, and 50% of our team are female, 50% are male, and we don't really think about it. It is just what it is.
I was talking to Jo Major, who does a little bit of work with us on diversity and inclusion. She's a bit of a guru in recruitment for that space. She's not a great fan of International Women's Day because people are, and I use that ticking boxes without really embracing that all the year round. You know, there's 365 days in a year, and it's important to make sure that you do that. If you're subliminally not biased, isn't that a wonderful place to be? And let's hope other people are in that space too. Well, thank you for today. And great to hear your progress with medical engineers. Bye for now.
Bye.